listening to. I say you are listening to. You are absolutely listening to the George Espinlove Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
All right. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. My goodness gracious. We have a packed out studio tonight. There is standing room only on the inside, and there are even folks on the outside that's listening by the way of the monitors that we have hooked up out there. To all of our friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, I welcome you to the George Espinlove Show that comes to you every night, Monday through Friday. Is that right? Every night, Monday through Friday. That comes to you Monday through Friday, every one of those nights. Whatever I'm trying to say. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you've been hanging with me, you know what I'm trying to say. I can't think and talk at the same time. We're coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. We don't know where that is. We just live here. Email me, George C.E., that's George C.E. at Comcast.net. GeorgeCE@Comcast.net. Thank you for your emails. They've been coming. Keep them coming. We've been answering them, and we'll continue to answer them. And we thank you for all of your response and your kind words and your support. We have a tremendous show tonight. We're going to have a gentleman on here in just a few seconds that has a story to tell. And I believe that the masses need to hear this man's story. Not only do they need to hear this man's story, they need to read the book that he has written that pertains to his life. Breaking the Silence. Breaking the Silence. Railroaded by Family, Friends, and the Law. By Mr. Kenzell Evans. It's a heartbreaking story, but it shows the story of a man who has courage, strength, perseverance, and much courage. And we're going to have him come on in just a few seconds. Breaking the Silence, railroaded by Family, Friends, and the Law. This is the first interview that he has given. And he's been so gracious to come on the George Espinlove Show and share his story of what happened to him. I'm sure that there are people going through some dark times, deep valleys, difficult, stressful, heartbreaking times, situations, circumstances. Listen to this man. I believe his story will inspire you and give you strength to continue on. We're going to bring him on in just a second. Charlie, hook us up, buddy. Thank you, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce you to Mr. Kenzell Evans, the author of Breaking the Silence, Railroaded by Family, Friends, and the Law. Mr. Evans, welcome to the George Espinlove Show.
Hello, George. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good. Right off the bat, I want to tell, I want to tell our listeners where they can get a copy of your book.
Oh, it's Barnes and Noble, Author House, and Amazon.
Amazon, Author House, Barnes and Noble.
And Amazon.com, yes.
Yes, Amazon.com. I'll get it right.
Yeah, that's just take my name in there. Kenzell Evans, Evans.
Okay, and that'll take you to the book.
They'll take it right to it.
I must say, I read this book, and I think I told you when we spoke the other day, if I didn't have to go somewhere or to do something, I would have never got up until I finished reading it. It's a great read, and I can hear your heartbeat as you are writing this book. I've never been in your shoes. I can't even contemplate how you must have felt going through what you went through. But I can hear your heartbeat, and I know you're for real. And Mr. Evans, I want to thank you before we go any further for taking the time and allowing us to talk to you about this book.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you. And I'm pleased to be here.
You, when you was growing up, for a while there, it was just kind of like a normal growing up period, right?
Yes, right. Yeah, it was.
And
it was, go on, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, it was, it was a nice childhood. I was raised by my grandparents in North Carolina. And at the time, I took it as my mother and father because I never was told anything else otherwise, other than that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was raised. There was a lot of love and affection there, And one of the things she drilled in my head, like a chisel, go to school and make something out yourself. And, and I remember that. I mean, it stuck with me,
Mm-hmm.
And she passed, and I believe 56, 57, 1956, 57. And granddaddy had a stroke, paralyzed from the waist down. So he couldn't take care of me, so he said I need to go stay with my sister. And, actually said stay with Noah. And I didn't want to go, of course I weaked and all, but it didn't do no good. I didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, that's where I went, to Washington, D.C., to stay with them. And later on, we talk about, weeks later, probably. And I was confronted because I was still weeping about, grandmother. Well, my mother, I'm saying my grandmother to try to make things clear, I guess. But she told me that I'm your mother. This is your home. These are your brothers and sisters. Oh my God, that couldn't be true. I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard this,
Mm-hmm.
And, we went back and forth. I, basically tried to adapt. And, but I wasn't welcome. I just felt it. I wasn't welcome,
When your grandmother passed away, your whole world was turned upside down.
Well, I was still weeping at that point, but it hadn't turned around right then. It turned around when I moved to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And once I experienced, being there and these your brothers and sisters, I wasn't treated as a brother or sister. As a brother. There was more because there was 5 other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Three sisters, 2 brothers. Myself makes 3 boys, and it was different. It was totally different. I was mostly concerned about education and doing well and all. They were totally different. It was more streets. There was no, I'm used to the country and, coming to the city, concretes and playing in the street and all this. I wasn't used to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so all this stuff I had to get, used to and all. And there was nobody there. So kind of like everybody was kind of like raising itself. And when kids beating them up and that kind of thing, they wouldn't defend themselves. They would look for me to do that. Maybe because I was older or whatever. But other than that, I wasn't no good to them. I mean, it was the name calling, based what kids do. Black Sam boy, all this kind of mess, country boy and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I wasn't accepted with them, and the sad thing about that, just jumping up forward now. The sad thing about that is it still exists today.
Mm.
That's one of the bad things about it. So I'm still like an outcast. So only time I'm, wanting or anything is when they want somebody I can do something for them. Other than that, I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't accepted. Yeah.
So,
Everything was I'm sorry.
So you were like a fifth wheel on a wagon.
Yeah, when I kept hearing this whole phrase, the black sheep of the family. I was the black sheep. I felt that, and I didn't know what it meant and all that, but yeah, I was that. And came to school time. Going back to school, Easter, when you get new clothes or whatever, they would get, 3 or 4 outfits. The girl would get 3 or 4 outfits. The boy, I would get one shirt and a pair of pants.
Mm-hmm.
And was told I ran out of money. I'll get the rest of your stuff later. That never came. So I'm wearing this stuff back and forth to school every day, washing what I could. Just in the wintertime mostly, and I got tired of it. I begged, and I just got tired of it. I couldn't put up with that no more. I was to deal with the peer pressure outside the school, then come home and have to deal with this. And I remember I was 12 years old, and her husband said, he wasn't my father. That was their father.
Mm-hmm.
And he had said, because they was sleeping in the living room, we was in the bedroom. The boys and the girls in the other rooms, 2 bedrooms. If he don't want to go to school, put him out. They go look for a job. And the brothers, they laughed. So it was funny. I didn't laugh. I just left my clothes. I didn't think, because I didn't know what she was going to do. But anyway, at 4:30 in the morning, they woke me up. She woke me up and told me to go look for a job. I was 12 years old. I'll never forget. There was snow. Snow up almost to my knees, and I had holes in my shoes. And it was pretty rough there, and I had to go find an apartment building somewhere to sleep to keep warm,
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd done that for a couple of weeks or so, and found myself back. Police picked me up one time, took me home. Where have you been? We've been looking for you and all that. I didn't say anything because that's what we were taught to say. Don't say anything. And, they left and, I was back in the same boat again, back in school, I just stopped again. And, basically I ran the street, living in the streets. They thought homeless. And, living in the woods, finding blankets and pots and pans or whatever. And I was buried in the ground, in the woods. I had a little spot in the woods, and I would do that. And when I had nowhere to go, that's what I would do. I would sleep in the woods,
You know what I noticed as I was reading through the book?
Yeah.
I noticed that from the time your grandmother passed away, all the way to the end, you had you had the ability. I'm trying to find the right word. You had the grit way down deep inside of you, whether you knew it or not. But you had this whatever it's called. You had it down deep inside that no matter what circumstance you came up against, you were able to find a way to survive.
Well,
Everyone can't do that, but I noticed that from the very beginning, from the time grandmother passed away, all the way to the end, until even to this day, you have the uncanny ability to land on your feet.
that was, that's come from the drilling. The longer the heartbeat, you move, you do something.
Hmm.
And that's where I was raised with her. And that stuck with me. And even when they put me out, I was in the streets. When I cried a week, whatever, that's who I talked to. I talked to her. That's what's going on. Why am I being treated like this? And I didn't have no answers. I haven't done nothing wrong. It's just that I just wasn't accepted. And but I didn't look at it like that either. I just, I knew I would, it's just different. It just I had to. I've been struggling all my life.
Hmm.
And that's the way it's been. You know.
When you went to school, and I noticed you said in the book, when you went to school, of course you already mentioned that you had the same clothes and you try to wash them, and uh, you know you, everybody else would have nice clothes or different clothes, and you just wouldn't get it. I mean, it was just you wasn't treated right. When you went to school, did any of the school people, the teachers, the counselors, did any of them ever take any concern and say, Kenzell, are you having problems? Can we help you? Did anyone ever do that?
No, no, no. I guess it was a little different back then opposed to this now.
Hmm.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't have that. I knew I was in junior high. I wanted to run track so bad, but I didn't have no proper shoes. I mean, I'm barefooted. I mean, I just didn't have no shoes to wear, and I just felt embarrassed. I was ashamed, so I couldn't run track.
Hmm.
You know, and the gym instructor there, he wanted me to run track. He felt I was fast, had potential and all, but I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't tell him what was going on
Hmm.
because that's where we were raised. Not to say anything, just keep quiet. So that's where my life has been too. Until I wrote the book.
Hmm.
You know, but in doing so, um, I did get a job. Um, I found a job, and I think it was at the little grocery store, and trying to go to school too. That didn't work because but I had to pay her rent. I couldn't live there for free. She said, so I had to pay rent,
Hmm.
and I was getting about $24, something like that, a week. So I had to pay her $15 a week to live there. She said I couldn't live there if I didn't pay rent, and hey, that's what I had to do. And then I got another job. In fact, I think that was my first real job. That was at George Washington University as a dishwasher there. And I worked overtime. I think, even working overtime, I think I made about $42 a week. And at that point, I had to give her $35. You know, and the rest of my just used for coffee to get back and forth to work. Now the brother, the oldest one, he had a job with her. He didn't have to give her nothing. I put money in the layaway for clothes, so I lost that because I couldn't pay for it.
Hmm.
Um, it was pretty rough there. It was pretty rough, pretty rough. Then when I met this girl, oh, she was had a little job at the church there, and we started talking, and of course she didn't know my business because I kept that quiet.
Hmm.
And she got pregnant, so I had a son, and I didn't want him to go through what I went through. And I made a vow that I would do whatever I could to prevent that from happening, when life to go like mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in, back when they had the Toys R Us, this was the warehouse then, where they, distribute stores to the toys, to the stores, called toys to the stores. Back when they had the little talking dog, the pull the string and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it first came out there. And I was basically doing what I could, to survive, and I guess hustling or whatever you want to call it. And I dealt with the gangs and, because I ended up with, that was my family.
Mm-hmm.
And at 15, I'm speeding through, At 15, I got my own apartment. I had a car. And I decided to, have my own family, Since I didn't have no family, I was going to have my own family,
Mm-hmm.
I got married at, a young age too. I came home, I was working at the Prince George school system at the time. And I come home one day and at night I got off about 1:15, 1:30. And there was the police driving through the neighborhood. And so I was sitting in the car trying to see what's going on. And they rode past. They looked at my, shined light on my tag, in my face, and they drove on. I went in the building, in the apartment where I lived there, and I asked my wife what was going on. The police was right now. They said it was a drive-by shooting. And I said, did they catch anybody? No. She don't think so. That's okay. About 2 days later, I was going out the house to go to work, because I leave about 2:30 in the afternoon to go to work, because I worked at night. And these same police approached me, say they want to question me about a robbery. So, robbery? What are you talking about, robbery? But anyway, okay. So they questioned about the robbery. I took it downtown. It was dismissed. And after it was dismissed, as I was walking out the courtroom, the marshals approached me and said they got a warrant on me. They don't know what it was about. And, anyway, they took me back in custody. So I go back to the district jail. And later they tell me there was they would ask me where was I at on my whereabouts on January the 4th, 1971. So I told them I was at work. I have the keys to the building. I have people under me who I have to let in the building to go to work. They can't work if I don't let them in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of took it lightly. So it wasn't a big deal. I figured they had mistaken identification, And the suspect supposed to be a 5'9", muscular built, cuts and scars in the cheek area and processed hair. None of this stuff fits me. I'm not even I'm about 5'6", maybe. And so anyway, I went in front of the magistrate. He had said he didn't see there was no positive identification. Telling the prosecutor, "Are you sure? But this was a serious offense." And they wanted me to go through a lineup, and blah blah blah. And I went through a lineup. As a result, they scheduled me to go back to court on the 26th of February. I was the marshals came and got me and said I go back to court on the 25th. We argued well back and forth. No, we go back to 26th. He said, no, we got papers to take you on the 25th. Okay, we go, and they take us straight to Baltimore courthouse, straight to the courtroom, as if everybody was waiting for us, and like everything was set, and said I was indicted on a kidnap, rape, and I couldn't believe this. That was the last time I seen the D.C. in almost 11 years. And I think it was Rap Brown. I didn't put his name in the book. I just said one of the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
He had, stepping with the law, and back during that time there was the mafia and stuff going on like that too. And they took interest in me, and tried to help me, and how the government is and all that. And they wrote letters for me because I ain't know how to write no letter.
When you were after they arrested you in D.C.
Yeah.
And they went through the rigmarole. Went through the motions. and you told them that you were at your place of employment.
Right.
And you had like you said, you had people that worked under you.
Right.
And did they take the time to go check your employer and those fellows that you worked with?
No, they didn't. All they said was, who are the people with you, and don't you want to go home to your family and all that? Don't you want to see your wife, your son?
Mm-hmm.
Of course I do, but I don't know anything about this. And like I said, I ended up in Baltimore.
Did you ever find out in all the time that you were away? Did you ever find out, or did anyone ever say? Your employer.
No, when I went to court, after doing sentencing, the jury went out for about less than an hour, came back. The jury, everything was like set. There was no picking. It was just set. Everything, they came in and they sit down. I'm questioning about the jury. There was black from the jury and all this. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about that. So can I get the newspaper in here? Somebody in here, the witness this stuff. They closed the door. Nobody else was alive. That was that. So what can I say? I didn't know what else to do. But, anyway, we ended up, it gave us double life in 15 years. And I just couldn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming. And, pinching myself and trying to figure what's going on and all this. Couldn't get no help. So when I went to Lewisburg, that's what they sent me to Lewisburg Penitentiary. Mm-hmm. And I asked the lawyer, because it was a court-appointed attorney, and I just got rid of him because he wasn't doing nothing. I got rid of him. And he had just messed the identification up, everything that was, visible that to reverse this decision, this case, he had messed it all up, Mm-hmm. So I told him to send me all my material. When he sent me all my material, and I went through all the stuff that he had, there was the FBI investigation that he had, where the FBI had went to my job, investigated me, interviewed these people. They said I was at work. All this evidence was right there, but none of this stuff was presented in court. There was the laboratory examination, all this stuff was negative. It was negative. None of this stuff was brought up in court, it's just like they just threw all this mess in the trash. The identification, that was what I don't know, they just, as if they just threw this mess in the trash. They didn't mean nothing. So then I had to deal with it, and the lawyer messed this, all the identification, all this stuff up, so I can't file on this stuff. So that's, so I was working on, there was some jurisdiction issues that I was raising, incompetent attorney, and because let me back up a little bit.
You want to take a break? We'll take a break, and then we'll come right back.
No, we go on. What happened when I got to Lewisburg, when the Italian guys there introduced me, he asked me, did I know Jimmy Hoffa? I said, who is Jimmy Hoffa? I don't know about no Jimmy Hoffa. And he said, it's the union. Okay, but I don't know him. But anyway, he introduced we introduced. So he asked him, do he know anything about it? Know anything about law? That I need some help. Could give him some help. He needs some serious help because the government just done screwed him. So he introduced me to this spy from Russia. Big guy, and he introduced me to Wigmore Law. Told me to get the book, and he helped me with it. Introduced me to law, how to file and everything. He was later, because he had been locked for like 17 years or so. And the government was holding him here. They wouldn't let him go. They finally let him go. He sent it back to his country. But then I was on my own. So I eventually got myself out, But it took me like 6 years or so to deal with it. I couldn't even talk about it. It hurt me so bad. It hurt me. I was ashamed. It just, whole thing, this, and I don't know anything about it. It was hard. It was really hard. I definitely, it hurt.
Kenzell,
It really hurt.
and I'm sure you have. My goodness, you must have ran this over and over in your mind 1.5 million times. But when the FBI did their investigation and this was negative and somebody said this, somebody said that, but none of it was admissible in court.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, you didn't even know it was there.
Right, because I'm telling the lawyer that I was at work. He's telling me, give him $5,000, I can beat this case. And I don't have no money. I'm not giving you $5,000 for something I don't know anything about. It was first it was what, 10 or 15, then he dropped to 5,000, then they asked me would I take a plea to 5 years, 10 years, and all that. I just wasn't going to do it because I don't know anything about it. I wasn't going to do it. I think if I was in a situation again, I still wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. That was like, labeling me, and it was just, they just took my freedom away from me.
So from the time you were arrested, and then you were supposed to go to court in D.C., right? But then they just took you straight to Baltimore. But from the time that you were arrested until the jury come back with, it was like bam, 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 done.
Right.
It happened so fast, like dominoes falling, right?
Yeah. It was just, like I said, I thought I was dreaming. I didn't know this couldn't be real. I know that they don't do this. That was in my head. It just wasn't true. But it is true. I see things different now. The government they will. I see different now. And when you don't know, you just don't know. And another thing, you being young, you're on the street, you think you're hip, you think you know what's going on. Trust me, when I was in there, I honestly realized how dumb, illiterate I was. It was just terrible. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know none of the ramifications of the law. I didn't know nothing. And and then I ain't had no help. I just didn't have no help.
And you no doubt as you went over and over and over this thing in your mind, you thought you'd wake up any minute now, and this was just a real bad nightmare. For people that's going through maybe not exactly the same thing you went through, but for men and women, boys and girls that's out here, and they're going through some of the darkest hours of their entire life, and they're walking through some of the deepest, darkest, loneliest of valleys, and it just there's nothing around them but despair. and they look and there's darkness and there's no hope and there's no one. What can you tell people that's going through something like that? What if you could tell them something? What would you tell them?
I guess the only thing I said, be strong. I swear, you got to be strong and keep going. You got to look forward. You just got to, and just, you know, believe, have faith. You know, it just. I talk to God and my grandmother. I mean, that's who I talk to. That's the only place. That's all I could talk to. I just talk to God, ask God what was going on to help me. You know, and you know, I can honestly say this: through the duration of the time that I was there, I honestly felt that somebody was with me because I mean, when I came home, when I got out, I felt like I had been in a place in a dungeon, you know, where I didn't want to be. I was barefooted. I felt like I was barefooted, walking on broken glass, and never got a scratch on me, nowhere. Now that's a blessing. I mean, if you can beat that, you know, more power to you. I mean, I don't know nothing else stronger than that. Now, I know what that was, but, you know, I'm not going to get into that. But, you know,
Right.
something was with me, you know, to go through that. And then in the day I felt, if, even when I had a stroke, I lost my kidneys too. I felt that I was going to be okay when I had it. Because if God wanted to take me, he could have done that. He didn't do that. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm living proof. That's the faith that I have. I don't get into no faith. I don't talk about that. That's the faith that I have. And if people are going through, because everybody goes through changes, you know, every family goes through changes. We have issues, you know, but we need to, you know, we have these hidden secrets and covering up things, you know, and what it does, it affects the younger generation. You're raising them up to be the same way. And it's wrong. You know, we need to deal with that, you know, and make them stronger. Because tomorrow, the kids going to be more aware than we are today. You have to make them stronger, you know, and support them. And we need love. We go through, you know, coming up in D.C., love was never mentioned in the house, okay? I don't know, it was never mentioned. All my love was when my grandmother was there. When she was gone, it disappeared. I had to adjust myself to a relationship because I feel nobody loved me more than I love myself because I'm surviving for myself. I mean, that's the way it is now. So if somebody say they love me, no. But they don't know what love is. That's how I feel about it. So it takes time to work that, you know. And I've seen that in my wife when she was with me. When I lost my kidneys, my son was there who gave me a kidney. You know, the whole time I was sick. And I believe the sickness came because of all this stress, all this buildup in me. Because I eat well, I work out, I mean, you know, but anyway, it happened. You can't take with so much. I don't care how strong you are.
Exactly.
You know, you got to, you know, you got to give, you got to bend, and it's hard.
Another thing that I noticed when I was reading the book, and I mean this when I say this, I mean this. I could only hope that I have half as much grit in me as you have in you. And I noticed when I was reading that book that even when you were away, you had again you had this uncanny ability to do good things, even you you were and people don't understand this, but you were an entrepreneur even when you were in Lewisburg. Now, the means and the ways might not be quite the right thing to do, but you had yourself uh, you had yourself several businesses, and you did all right.
Well, I did. I did, and I didn't know anything about no business and anything like that. Like I said, the Italian guy who was, he was drilling in my head. If you can do this, then here, you should be able to start a business outside.
Mm-hmm.
I never in my life thought about no business. It was never in my mind. It just happened. It was just happened. I was just, you know, I wanted to be, I wanted to be a scientist. I really wanted to do so myself. And it just didn't happen. I mean, well, I did create an invention. So while I was there, I did that. I did, the hustling, as far as the business and things I was involved with. But I cut that loose too. When I've seen myself going in a different direction, and it's not what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ultimate goal was my son. I got to get out to get my son. I have to raise my son, because that was a vow I made before he was born. I didn't want him to go through life the way I went through life, to go through the changes. I'll take his beating before I let him do it. Because I felt I done been so I can handle it. So I don't want him, tampered with,
Mm-hmm.
in any way, wrong way. I want to help him. I want to make him make it. I remember one time he told me when I came home, I want to be like you, Dad. No, you don't. Don't you ever say that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be like me. You want to be better than me. I'm only trying to make a way for you, but you got to be better. And, he never said no more about it. I just wish I had three or more like him, because he's doing well. He's, he's married. He got 3 kids. He has a home. He has a few automobiles. I mean, he's doing real good. I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him, And we just close. We never talk. I mean, we talk. I talked to him when I see him going too far to the left or too far from the right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say something to him, and when I say something to him, I leave it alone. A week so later, he done regroup. So he never was hard headed.
Mm-hmm.
But he would adapt. He would get back on course. That's the way he always been. He's a good guy. I mean, he's a good guy.
Let me tell our audience, you can get Mr. Evans' book, Kenzell Evans. Just go to Amazon.com and type in there Kenzell, Kenzell, Evans, Breaking the Silence, Railroaded by Family, Friends, and the Law. You can get it at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Author House. I think Tower.com is carrying it. So there's multiple places. Breaking the Silence by Mr. Kenzell Evans. It is a tremendous read, ladies and gentlemen, and it's one of those compelling books that once you pick it up, unless you have to go somewhere, I'm not so sure I'd advise you to pick it up at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, because you're not going to go to sleep until you finish it. And if you have to get up real early, you're going to lose some sleep. I'm telling you, the book is that good. Breaking the Silence by Mr. Kenzell Evans. So do yourself a favor, get a copy of it, and tell everybody. Tell all your friends, your neighbors, your in-laws, your outlaws, friends, Romans, and countrymen. Anybody that will listen to you, tell them. Get this book, Breaking the Silence, Kenzell Evans. It will move you. It will stir you. And I hope most of all, I hope that it will provoke you to think. Get away from yourself and think of what's going on in our society and be a blessing to someone else. So,
Can
Another.
I say this?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
No, go ahead. Go on. I'm sorry. Go on. Finish it. Go on. Finish it.
No, go ahead, because I was going to ask you a question. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, what you said. You know, I've um, I've seen I guess about 80 people that have told me they had gotten the book, they read it, and they was, they liked it. It was interesting. It was a good read, and they couldn't put it down. Because I tried to take all the water out of it and just substance. And it's a true story, and I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and it relates to everybody. Every family on this earth, it relates. You know,
Mhm.
I've been out of town. People have called me out of town who have, talked about it, some things that they have that they weren't able to talk about, that now they could talk, they want to talk to me about. But it's just something that relates to everybody, what we go through,
Hmm.
family. And that's why, and somebody asked me about why did I make it Breaking the Silence? And I thought to make it Double Life and all that, but I didn't want to do that because all this time, I'm decided to let go. I'm decided to let go, get it out. That's why I said Breaking the Silence,
Hmm.
because I just with family, and the minister, he was the dean. He died about 3 or 4 years ago. Dr. Dean Jones of Howard University. We was good friends. We used to talk a lot. And I was saying, the manuscript, it was just saying had that much, maybe 30, 40 pages. But he was saying, why do you keep going back to these people? What's wrong with you? I would have been left. I would never. Good God.
Hmm.
So I said, human nature, that's the closest thing to you. You gravitate towards your family. That's what you do. He said, but why do you keep going? They keep, pushing you away and all this, and you keep going. So, but I said, when I get tired, I'll stop. When I get tired, you not tired yet? I said, not yet. But I said, when I get tired, I'll stop. And when I lost my kidneys, I was on dialysis for a year. I didn't hear nothing from my family. There was no communication.
Hmm.
And then my wife said she had told them and all that. She came to the hospital. And they was calling down North Carolina. That's where I'm from. That they didn't hear nothing about it. They ain't know anything about it. So I couldn't say anything because that would bring my wife involved here.
Hmm.
That makes her wild now. So I kept quiet. I just sucked it up because I know how they are. So I didn't want to get caught up in that mess. Then I had a stroke along my left side, and from a stroke, we had bought a house down in North Carolina too, retirement home.
Hmm.
And I was down at the store. I was doing some work in the house, going down there every week after I got off dialysis working. And I seen a cousin, and she said, "Is that you? I can't believe it. They said you couldn't do nothing. You was in the bed, you couldn't do nothing, and here you are, like ain't nothing wrong with you." So I said, "Don't say nothing. Don't say you see me." And she said, "Do anybody know you here?" I said, "No." I said, "Don't say nothing. Just leave it alone." She said, "Okay." When I left to come home back to Washington, she when I got home, she called me. I'm like, "What's wrong? Is something wrong?" She said, "No." I said, "I was trying to give you time to get home." That I went down to grandma's house, and she said she had just got off the phone call to your mother, and she said, "Child, you're not gonna believe this. Kenzell got 1 feet in the grave and 1 feet out." And I said, well, I said, at least you know. She said, yeah, if I had a speed, I would believe that. I said, I know. I said, just leave it. I said, don't say nothing. Just leave it alone. That's when I let it go. That's when I stopped. That was enough of that. I was sick of it. I was totally sick of it.
When you were sentenced to 2 life terms plus 15 years,
Yeah.
Willie, the other fella,
Yeah.
what he was sentenced to? What, 15 years or
He was still the same thing. He was the same thing.
same thing?
In fact, he was my brother-in-law because we married 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And we was hanging together earlier, you know, but I hadn't been hanging with him for a while because that broke loose and all that. After I got married, I was basically by myself, you know. And anyway, yeah, he was on the case, and everything I filed, I was sending him a copy of it so he can file the same thing, you know, same thing too.
How long did it take you? You know, the Russian man showed you how to research things, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take you before you filed your first motion?
I guess about 3 months. About 3 months, so, you know, about 3 months. You know, after I got pretty good understanding how I go and everything, and mainly to, you know, be careful with, you know, because once you file something, you can't go back with the same issue, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be sure you got everything right. And that's what I did. I was make everything was right, you know. It's just that I filed two motions prior, and the judge dismissed them. He denied it, and I didn't appeal it. I just, you know, just went on to the next thing. And I knew it was right. I mean, well, I just didn't pursue it because, you know, then when I found that's when I really concentrated on the incompetent attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all these cases, you know, make sure everything is right. And I ran across this Youth Act. And I read it and I said, wow, this applies to me. So I jumped right on it. And actually, there was a friend I was communicating with. She had went to this palm reader. She was telling about the palm reader. She told me, you got to believe, have faith in it and all that. I didn't want to tell all that. I believe in everything. Because, of course, I believe her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some people got more power than others. You know, I mean, nobody's the same. So she said, talking about me, that I would be home soon. And I'm trying to figure out where, when, how. So when I was up in the library going through cases, when I ran across this case, I thought about what she said, and I jumped on it. And I filed a motion down to the district court. He denied it, like he did with the other two. So I said, I'm going to appeal this. So I appealed to the Fourth Circuit. They reversed it and put on their unpublished decision, meaning it won't be in the law books for everybody else to see it.
When the other when the other judge denied your motions, did he have to give you a reason, a written reason, or did he just say denied?
Yeah, no, he has to. Well, on that Youth Act, he has to say, was I qualified? Would I benefit from the Youth Act?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't mention that. I don't care how if he say anything about the Youth Act would have been sufficient. He didn't say anything about the Youth Act. So he just sentenced me to, you know, double life, 15 years, to the Attorney General and blah, 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 blah. And the Youth Act covers 12 years at the time. And with the time I had in, that was about like time served, so I know they're not going to pay me, the government. They're going to figure out a way to hold me and do something else, you know.
Mm-hmm. And
he sit on this thing for 6-7 months or something like that. I had to get a lawyer to go in there to talk to him for for him to act on this thing, and I found a man down just a motion to force him to act on it. This guy ignored me, so but anyway, he came back and told me 35 years. I got it knocked down 35 years. So at least 35 years, I can see the light at the other end of the tunnel. With double life in 15, you don't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a license to kill. I thought it was bad being in a place like that. You got guys for 5, 10 years, and and that ain't good. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
You got somebody there with all this time, don't have nothing to lose. It's not that I was thinking like that, but still, it's the fact is you got them all there together.
Right.
And but anyway, they knocked it down to 35 years, and 2 years later, I went up for parole. He went on parole too, but he was in Terry Hut, and I just had what they told me. Well, my attitude haven't changed, and all this. I don't know what he was talking about, but anyway, I said okay, fine. Because I'm looking at 2 years, despite what the time that I already had put in, 2 years not gonna make no difference now, because 2 years I'm going to concentrate on getting myself together, because I know I'm not gonna get no job when I get out, so I got to do something else so I can provide for myself, to make a living. I got to do something. So I started thinking of ways of business, I had got a patent. I got a letter from the patent office that, from graduating that I was an inventor and all that now, for my patent invention. And I tried to get that off the ground, but marketing is another story. So I had to survive when I got out. So I couldn't go nowhere with that. So I started a lawn service when I got out. But before then, when they gave me 2 years, the Willie that's in the book there, he's in Terry Hut. I didn't know they had let him go. And I had just happened to call home one day, my sister, and she said, Willie just left here. And I couldn't believe it. I said, no, Willie's in Terry Hut. She said, no, he was here. I said, how could that be? And he never said a word to me. And I'm the one who got him out. I couldn't believe it. I told one of the guys there, I was telling him about it. He said, man, you know how guys are. I said, man, I want to talk to you. What are you talking about? Oh, I was a little warm about that, And, but anyway, I asked him for her to get in touch with him to send me his parole pay, what he got, because I was filing appeal on everything, filing a motion for everything that I had to do, to do anything, get that thing done. And I ended up going to Petersburg and transferred to Petersburg. Of course, the appeal was still pending, and I was there for about a month, maybe. And I got a certified letter from the court saying, to release Kenzell Evans in 30 days, a court order. And I didn't tell nobody about it. I just kept the letter, to myself, and just, went on, did the same thing I was doing before. I was trying to start a newspaper up in the penitentiary at the time too. But anyway, so when I came home, nobody knew, and I said I'm going straight to the halfway house with all these stories, about guys getting violated for different things. I ain't want to get caught up in all that. I'm going straight to the halfway house because they tell me, you got 24 hours to report. But I don't care. I'm going straight to the halfway house, and I got to say, well, so I was there early, so I talked to the counsel and everything, and he said, you don't have to be in till like 7 o'clock, and it's 1 o'clock, so you can go hang out. I ain't got nowhere to go. But so he encouraged me to go on, I went past mother's house, and when I went past there, I went in the house 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, and somebody knocked on the door. It was Willie. I couldn't believe it. Where did this guy come from? How did he know I was here? I just had to ask him. I was trying to be cool, but I had to ask him. He said, you know how guys talk and blah, 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 blah. I didn't say nothing. I said, because I don't know what guys he's talking about because nobody knew I was coming home. But when I left Lewisburg, the caseworker told me, he said to me, when you get out, you have a clean record. You know, you start your life all over. And my mind is, how can that be? But he must know something I don't know. So, and whatever you do, don't associate yourself with Willie, because if you do and you get caught, you'll never see the street again. I kept that. You're the third person I said that to. I never said that. Always kept quiet, kept to myself. And yeah, and he said, when we was my mother's house, I said, come on, let's, he was saying go into the neighborhood. And I said, yeah, I left because I didn't want them to think that we had this planned in the thing. I wanted to get out of the house. And as we was walking, I'm asking about, God, what you been doing? He said, nothing. It's hard to get a job out here. Ain't nothing to do. I mean, it's about a job. I said, you've been out here 6 months and you ain't found no job? Man, it's rough out here, I said, okay. And we should get a place out. We should get a place together. I think I blew my cool then. I was trying to be cool. I blew my cool then. So he lost his mind now. So we wasn't getting nothing together. And but anyway, we went out northeast, and I told him I didn't have any money, and he didn't say anything. But when we got out northeast, I know it was about 5 something. I need to get back to the halfway house. He said he didn't have any money. Oh my God! And you knew. Anyway, I went to the neighborhood. I knew somebody I knew over there. Got some change. Showed me how to get on the bus, where the bus is, and all that. And the bus went another direction. I jumped off the bus and ran to the halfway house. And that was the last time I seen him. I wasn't mess with that no more. And the next day, I got a job, a roofing job. They found a job the second day I was home. I didn't like it, but I worked it. And, I later started a carrier service. I started a lawn service. It's hard work.
Your lawn, excuse me, your lawnmower service.
Yeah.
It was doing quite well. In fact, you didn't realize how much money you and your partner had saved until you were ready to get out of it.
No, I did not, because I wouldn't. I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't. I was just working because I took the training at Lewisburg, the course and everything, and I did know some about engines anyway. So I was just doing it, and So no, we had had it set up where we can take no more than $25 and single unless we were together, both signatures. Mm-hmm. So that was never an issue. So we ain't spend no money. We were just getting it free because the guy that works at the dump there was giving the lawnmowers from the dump. Mm-hmm. And I was just fixing them, and he was selling them and all that. But I was tired of that. I was getting up early in the morning, like 5 o'clock, running. I was running for like about a half an hour. Then after I finished running, I would work out, and I would shower and get myself together, and I had went to the auction, bought a car. I ended up getting a Cadillac, and they thought I was selling drugs. And I was hauling lawnmowers and rakes and everything in the Cadillac. I ain't kidding about the Cadillac. I'm trying to get some money. I can get another car, But I ain't say nothing. But they thought something was wrong with me. But anyway, I started a carrier service after that. In fact, Walter Mondale, that was my first account. Walter Mondale I said I was gonna save that check and frame it. I don't expect today. I don't know where that check is, and I didn't cash it. But I started the lawn service, and that just took off. And it just took off. I mean, it was just I stayed there just picking up help, and that grew. Then I started, the gas well.
Are
The
you
news people started.
are you still in the courier business?
Yeah, well, actually, my son runs it now. Since I've been sick, I don't do too much. I be, telling him, some,
Mm-hmm.
get busy, let me, so I can get out and do something.
Mm-hmm.
But he does all that now. He handles that. And then the drive and limo service we have. I started that. Started off with the news people, all the news people I dealt with, and most of the dignitaries. Justice Thurgood Marshall's family. Oh, all well, I dealt with a lot of people. And in fact, a lot of people thought the book was about all the people I was driving around and knew.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. I didn't think that was important.
Mm-hmm.
What I was feeling inside was more important to me.
Right.
Because when I would drive and when I finished with them, sometimes I would pull over the side of the road and I would break down because how my life went. I felt like my life was just snatched away. And I knew I could do better. I mean, I lost. Well, I was talking to an attorney about it. We was talking, and he was saying, because he had read the book, he just couldn't believe it. He thought he had went through some changes, and he was attorney his kids and stuff like that. But after reading your book, wow, he thought it was an American story here. Wow, all the stuff you've been through, But, he said that, it could have been another way, no telling what would have happened,
That's true.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I wanted my education. I wanted to, right now I got so many, I got ideas in my head, man, to invent. You wouldn't believe. I know, and it's possible for me, but it's about survival right now for me. And when I had a stroke and all, and kidney, that's when I found time to write the book. And that's when I found time to write. And I stayed up day and night writing. I'd get on the computer, 7, 8 o'clock at night. It'd be 3 o'clock the next day before I get off that computer. Huh?
Kenzell, the other thing that I noticed while I was reading this book is your mindset. I mean, you would, and I always tell people, I talk to myself and I answer myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can give myself pretty good advice. Other times it don't work as well. But your mindset, no matter what you were going through, first you would have this battle, and then all of a sudden, you'd get a grip, and you'd say, okay, that is negative, so that goes. I've got to concentrate. I got to concentrate. And your whole life was like that with your mindset. Did I lose you?
No.
Okay.
You're right. I just, well, one of the things that really, when I was shed, well, I don't want to say crying, but yeah, when I cried, it was like a drop, a tear. That was strength for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got strength from that. It reminded me of Samson when he cut his hair off.
Mm-hmm.
When he cut his hair off, he got weak. When his hair grew, got strong.
Mm-hmm.
When I cried for a reason. It was a purpose. I didn't cry just to be crying.
Mm-hmm.
For a reason. That was something inside of me. It was like a burning torch. It just burnt, and after I finished crying, it was just, I'm going after it now. I'm going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way and then somebody would say, you can't do this. I don't think you do this. Shouldn't be like this. That gave me more drive to prove them wrong. To prove me wrong, prove them wrong. That's what it did.
Ladies and gentlemen, get this book, Breaking the Silence, railroaded by family, friend, Friends and the Law by Mr. Kenzell Evans. It is a tremendous book. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Author House, Tower.com, but get it. Breaking the Silence. And once you open it up and start reading it, remember I told you so, that you're not going to want to put it down until you finish it. It is a tremendous, tremendous read. And the thing that I appreciate it about the most is that I can hear the man's heartbeat. I have no idea. I can't even begin to imagine what this man went through, but I can hear his heartbeat. And I'll tell you, reading it, like he said, there's something in there for everyone. It's inspirational. I mean, if you had any doubts that you couldn't do something, when you read this book, I mean, those doubts go away, and you become encouraged, and the light comes on, and you think, I can do this thing, no matter how hard, how difficult it is. I can do this thing. Read this book. Read this book. It'll do something to you that maybe nothing else has ever done to you before. How do you feel now that when you had your stroke, they said that you probably wouldn't walk and all that stuff, and of course you proved them wrong with that too, right?
Yeah, well, when I had the first it was the kidney, and that was something that bothered me too. But I threw the pills away, so I can't raise that issue. So that's what under the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'd done, because I was bleeding in the back of the brain, they called a doctor there for surgery, emergency surgery, and they said they was concerned because I lost my ear, my left side here, my left ear. There was no sound, nothing there, so that's gone. My left eye was frozen with steel rubber, and they was shaking this key or whatever in front of me to me follow this thing, and I'm following it, and I'm like, man, what do you keep following? There about 4 doctors there, and I'm like, I'm tired of following this thing, and I stopped, So later when they left, my wife said, your left eye wouldn't move, it was still. I said, well, they should have said something. But I felt myself, took my hand, my right hand just felt my body, and I ain't feel nothing broken. I just said I'll be all right. God, God gonna fix this because He said He would. Because He said take care of His kids. That's how I looked at it. But I think I'm gonna be all right anyway. I wasn't worried about it, and I never did worry about it. I guess people may thought something was wrong with me, but no, that's how I felt. Even with the stroke, I was okay. It was just he was just trying to tell me to slow down. I just wouldn't slow down. He gave me warning, so I can't be mad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wouldn't. They don't think they want therapy and all that, and I didn't want no therapy. They want to stay in the hospital. I didn't want to stay in the hospital, because I figured I would pick up somebody's germs or something. I didn't want to do that. So if I figured I'm going to drop dead or something, I might as well go home and do that. And I left, I just left, And I came home. My wife stayed all 3 weeks, and she was basically doing everything for me. And I thought about this. I said, no. I started getting up like 4 o'clock in the morning, going downstairs, working out. I started working. I had to get myself together. I ain't had nobody waiting on me, as long as this heart beat, I'm gonna do something. I gotta do something. If I can't do nothing, ain't no sense in me existing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do something. So it means that's why I went and wrote the book. In fact, it was about 600 pages. I took out about 300 pages. So much. I thought it was just too much going on, and I just took all that stuff out and just concentrated on me.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's motivational. It's inspiring. There's hope. There's drive. You definitely gonna get something out of it. You got to. Everybody done read it and told me that. Unless everybody's lying to me. But and they looking for why did I cut it off the way I cut it off? Why not put some more in there and all that? That's what I was getting. But I guess it wasn't about that. I was just trying to get my feelings out. What I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying this around all these years, it's hard. It was hard, and I was just tired of it. I just had to get it out of me. And I did that. I'm not mad. I have no regrets about it. I'm just glad I got it out. And I know it affects a lot of people. It relates to a lot of people and a lot of people's issues, and that's what we need to do, We need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first 4 chapters, we talking about the book, the first 4 chapters, now, in fact, they can go on Amazon, and when you pull my name up, and when you go to that book, it has in there, look inside. It'll give you 4 chapters
Mm-hmm.
for the book. But now, those 4 chapters, basically like a teaser, and it's you could say it go like 15 miles per hour. But the 5th chapter, that's when the pace going to pick up. We're running about 60 miles per hour, and we're going to keep running.
Yeah, that's true. Because I read that on Amazon, and it makes you thirsty. It makes you hungry. You want more. You want more.
Right. That's what I did, because the first 4 chapters is basically like an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
You ride down the street slow. This is the store, and that's where I used to go to school at, and that kind of thing. I wasn't getting into no detail.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wanting to introduce them what's happening here. And then after I introduce it, that's when the pace picks up. That's when it goes in the 5th chapter.
You did a wonderful job, Mr. Evans. You did a fantastic job. And
well, it did. I started. In fact, I already started on another one. On another book, I think I got about 200 pages, and but I don't know if I want to make a continue with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to get a little more profound.
Mm-hmm.
Into human nature and things that we deal with in general, people in general. People that everybody can relate to. I think that's more important, because especially when we having kids and our offspring and they coming up, we want them to grow too, to be strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And deal with challenges, and deal with all these challenges we have. That's what's important, and that's where I want to get my mind set at doing something like that.
Mr. Evans, I want to say a few things before I let you go. Number one, again, thank you so very, very much for coming and being with me. Thank you for those fine telephone conversations we've had. You have put a spark in me, and I appreciate that. The other thing I want to say is that you are a man that laid your soul bare. And I want men and women, boys and girls around this world to understand that when we look at other people, don't look at what other people look at. Look inside the man. Look inside the woman. Listen to them. Listen for their heartbeat, because that's the real person.
Right. You're right. That's right.
And I want you to know that because you and I have spoken several times on the telephone, and you came on the show tonight, you have enriched my life. And we don't live that far apart. And sir, I'm going to make it a point. I want to meet you, and I want to shake your hand. And you, Mr. Evans, I am proud to say that although we haven't met personally yet, I'm still proud to say Kenzell Evans is my friend. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you, George. Likewise. Thank you. And I might surprise you one weekend now.
That'll work. That'll work, sir. That'll work.
And I believe in keeping my word now.
I know you do. I know.
So
You have a great evening. Give my regards to your family.
I sure will.
And keep on keeping on.
Okay. Thanks, George. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
George. Okay now. Thank you now.
Breaking the Silence, Mr. Kenzell Evans. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous book. It will inspire you. I'm telling you. I'll be back right after this.
Spent a $5 bill at the wishy-wash getting her clean. Another 25 more for some beer and some gasoline. When I'm ready to rock, she's ready to roll. It's a high-hole silver and away we go. Burning up the blacktop looking for a gravel road. Yeah, my old pickup truck never lets me down. She's got a four-wheel drive and wall-to-wall stereo sound. Yeah, she's got a CB and a CD and an old 8-track. She's my honky-tonk country boy Cadillac. My old pickup truck never lets me down. Well, she takes me hunting and fishing anywhere that I wanna go. We ain't never been stuck in a flood, mud, sleet, or snow. She's got tiger paw tires that keep us on track. Got a cooler in the front and a bed in the back. Got my honky-tonk heroes rocking on the radio. Yeah, my old pickup truck never lets me down. She's got a four-wheel drive and wall-to-wall stereo sound. Yeah, she got a CB and a CD and an old 8-track. She's my honky-tonk country boy Cadillac. My old pickup truck never lets me down. Yeah, she got a CB and a CD and an old 8-track. She's my honky-tonk country boy Cadillac. My old pickup truck never lets me down. Come on, somebody.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Stop it, Charlie. Charlie over there playing on the board again. But you never know. You never know what Charlie's going to do. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Hey, listen. Excuse me. I want to thank Mr. Kenzell Evans one more time for taking the time and being on our show tonight. He did a great job. He did a great job the first time being on radio. He did a wonderful job. He wrote the book, Breaking the Silence. This man was falsely accused, arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 2 life terms plus 15 years for a crime that he did not commit. And it was later known that he didn't commit it. But nonetheless, he spent over a decade in prison. He was at Lewisburg Prison in the state of Pennsylvania. Then he was at Atlanta in Georgia. Then back to Lewisburg, and then to Petersburg, where he was finally released. He did his own, what's the word? He was his own lawyer because the lawyers that had been appointed to him at trial time were incompetent. And he studied and he learned and he worked diligently and he kept his mind focused on getting out. And he did. The man is, what's the word? The man has grit. I guess that's the best way I can sum it up, is Mr. Evans has grit. And whatever's come against him in his life, he has overcome it. And he wrote the book, Breaking the Silence, railroaded by family, friends, and the law. Mr. Kenzell Evans. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Author House, Tower.com. All of those carry the book. Make sure you get a copy of it. It is 230 some pages. I think so. 225, 226 pages. And it is a compelling read. So do yourself a favor. I do want to tell you that if you listen to Unshackled over the weekend, Saturday night and then again Sunday morning, we played some piano music by a man by the name of Bobby Smith. And this man can just flat out play a piano. In fact, the song that we close Unshackled with on Saturdays and Sundays, there's just something about that name. He sings that and he plays that also. But we played some of his gospel music Saturday and I think again on Sunday. But I spoke with him this afternoon. He gave me a call. And we are making arrangements for him to come and be on the show. So hopefully, maybe on Friday night or sometime next week. But I'll let you know that the man can flat out play a piano. If you didn't hear any of his music, go back and listen to Saturday night Unshackled and then Sunday morning Unshackled, and you will hear his piano music. It is, what's the kids say? It's off the hook. Here is another man that we're going to make contact with. His name is Derek McCorkle, and he is from, of all places, the same place where our friend Harry Burke, who lives in Ireland. Harry was here, last Friday night with us. London, Derry, or Derry, however which way you want to say it. This is where Derek McCorkle is from also. He now lives in Minnesota. He's married, and he plays country and sings country. And the man can flat out sing. So we're going to go country for a little while here tonight. And this is one of Derek's songs. And I can't wait till we get him on the show. This is one of Derek McCorkle's songs. I blame it all on Jack.
Got a ticket for a DUI just the other day. Was going way too fast and just too drunk to see. And the officer said, "Sir, what have you got to say?" Said it was someone else's fault, it wasn't me. Well, then I wandered into work just 2 hours late again. I didn't hear the big alarm clock ring at all. And the boss said, "Keep your coat on, you're going back out in the rain. You've had 3 strikes, now you're out. You've got no excuse at all." It's been the story of my life. I'm my own worst enemy. I make excuses for all things I lack. But Mr. Daniels don't say drink me. I do that on my own. I'm the straw that brought the camels There's no one else to blame. The buck stops here with me. Yet I'll blame it all on Jay. Now today my honey left me. She walked out of the door. Said she had enough and wanted to be free. I cried, baby, what's the matter? Don't you love me anymore? She said it seems you love that bottle more than me. That's been the story of my life, of my own worst enemy. I make excuses for all the things I like, but Mr. Daniels don't say drink me. I do that on my own. I was struck from the camel's back. There's no one else to blame. Yet I'll blame it all on Jack. I keep blaming it on Jack. Yes, I do. When it's not him, and it's not you, I'll blame it all on Jack. Oh, it's not true. Blame it on Jack. Yes, I do.
That's the loons calling one another. They do that every now and then here at the Funny Farm. They call each other, they answer each other, they sing to one another, they talk to one another, and every now and then they hook up with one another. You know what I'm saying? And the reason we left you hear the loons calling one another is because we're looking for more loons. We want you to become a full-fledged loon. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sign anything. All you have to do is tune in to the George Espinlove Show. And by doing so, you are saying that I want to become a full-fledged loon. Remember, there are many, many, many that come to the Funny Farm, but there are very few that decide to leave. People come here and they like it. And while I'm at it, let me say this. I talked to my friend Cliff Stevens, who was here. We did a live show on Skype all the way from Morocco. Remember the night that his power went out? And he was sitting in his hotel room with candlelight. And his was the only room that had Wi-Fi for some reason. But remember, we did the interview all the way from Morocco. And we mentioned toward the end, we was talking about him doing a video on a camel, playing his guitar, and playing that song, Fingers Express. Well, you know what? We talked the other day, and he told me that he has a guy that's going to do this. They are actually going to do a film or a video of Cliff on a camel playing Fingers Express out in the desert. I think that is absolutely so cool. And I told him that I would make sure that I tell the audience. And he said that I would be the first to know. And it might take a few weeks to get it done, but he'll let me know. I thought I'd throw that in there to you because, you know, you just never know what's going to take place here at the Funny Farm. And I want you to know that we will not be responsible for any side effects that may occur while you're listening to the George Espinlaub Show. And yes, there will definitely be some side effects, guaranteed. But don't you worry about them. Don't worry what people says. Don't worry what people think. Don't worry the way they look at you. You just express yourself. I mean, you just let your hair down. You just do what you want to do whenever you want to do it, and it'll just be all right. Okay? All right. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get out of here. We're going to leave you for tonight. And I want to thank each and every one of you that came and listened to Mr. Kenzell Evans, Breaking the Silence. If you know someone that listens to the show but couldn't hear it tonight live, remind them to come back later tonight or tomorrow or any time as far as that goes and listen to the show. Tell your friends, neighbors, in-laws, outlaws, friends, Romans, and countrymen. Tell anybody that'll listen to tune in and listen to Breaking the Silence, a book that was written by Mr. Kenzell Evans, and he spoke and he shared a lot with us tonight. Get that book. Make sure you get that book because there are tons of things in that book that he didn't cover tonight. It's impossible to cover it all. And he will take you behind the scenes and into the prison. And you can read all for your own this man's life. And I thank him for being with us tonight. And I thank you for being with us tonight. It's great that you come and hang out with us every single night. All right, everybody, there's a whole lot of love coming to you from the Funny Farm. Wherever you're at, whatever you might be going through, we care about you. Email me, George C.E. That's George C.E. at Comcast.net. George C.E. at Comcast.net. If it's nighttime where you're at, you have a fine night. If it's already daytime where you are, then you have a great day. Regardless of where you're at and what it is, till tomorrow night, same time, same station, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on the Spreaker Network. This is George Espinlaub saying, stay safe. I mean that, stay safe. And God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you.